Hello. Once again, welcome to my channel. Karibu sana. So once again, we want to go back to history, and just want to learn and learn and relearn, and know what happened like in our past history. So in this series, basically, I'm gonna be talking about several things about the Luya people, and I will target certain areas of history or people that I think everybody needs to know. So for several years, I've been, there's been a lot of noises coming from, especially Somalis, who have been crying about, Kenyans being a snitch. They've been saying Kenyans write stuff for US or Britain, and whatever they write, especially about Africa, is not correct. So I was trying, like I was having a very difficult time trying to understand what they meant, because for me I didn't understand like how are we like part of such thing. So after doing my own research, I discovered actually they're right. That it's true. Yeah, Kenyans are highly involved in distorting the history of Africa, especially the Great Lakes region. This is more specifically about Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, South Sudan, a little bit of Tanzania, especially because they don't speak English, and then Somalia, and now we're also involved in Ethiopia. So I was shocked, like kind of information that I was, getting into, like the kind of information that I got into. It's a lot. Okay, and it's not like it's all Kenyan, but just two tribes. Okay, there are two tribes who are hired by the British and the America to spy and to write, and one of them are the like ancestral enemies of the Maragoli, and they've been writing lies and lies. For instance, in all the books, they classify Maragoli as witches, witches, this witches. So I was like, what? When you check the other, same people. When you check the back of the page, who's the other? The same people. So you wonder, like, why would this group be writing all these books and there's nothing good they're writing about other people? So, I mean, it's a lot. Yeah, then people need to go out and do the research, especially on UNESCO. So, like I've said, there's certain people who are heavily involved in distorting the history of Africans, especially the Great Lakes region. And I think that's why right now they're trying to force this thing called East African Community, because they want everybody together so that this group can do to them just like they've been doing to us, so that they can distort history, they can control and rule the way they are ruling us, and for them, for Mzungu. So that's what they want. They want a controllable Africa, a controllable East African region, and under one currency and one leadership, so that they can distort and help facilitate stealing of minerals from Kivu, from Uganda, from Western Kenya. Yeah, and whatever the thing that I'm talking about. If you go to Mombasa, I will show you videos of people from Mombasa. They're talking about the same thing, but for them they think it's all people of Bara. Yeah, they say people of Bara are betraying us, but it's not everybody. It's not like it's the whole thing. Just two specific group of people or community that are heavily involved in this distortion of history. Okay. So today I want to talk about specific things and specific stories. Basically, the Kavirondo Amasero. So when you go to the British Museum, you don't find, the usual artifact that you see about other Africans. We don't, especially for the Luyas. Yeah, basically a lot of things they are related to religious or very, very powerful things. Yeah, very important things. But European will not want you to know about the artifacts of the Luya. Even if you go to the website, most of them are blurred or completely, you can't see them. They're not allowed. You're not even allowed to see them. So, for instance, this is it's called a macero. So when you look at it, it looks like any ordinary thing. But these are very important artifacts. When you go back to the Bible, you read about the skin, or the skin, or the goat skin, or the sheep skin that was given to Shem. Then the Nimrod stole it. It's a long story. So when you come to the Great Lakes, this thing is usually was I mean it was documented as the clothing of the Batembuzi or the Chwezi, and in Zimbabwe I think the Shona or the Lemba, one of I don't know, the Karanga people used to wear the same thing. The priest, whatever, whoever the priest, the rainmakers, they used to wear the same thing. And last time anybody was seen with this thing, it was in Tanganyika or Shiraz. And for us, Maragoli, we have been fighting the Luos like for I don't know until European came. So we don't have history. We don't have because according they say if you've been fighting for 10 years, your history will be it will die. So by the time European came, Maragoli were still fighting and they were being killed in the thousands, just being killed by the Luo. They were hunting them and killing them like repeatedly. They were attacking them day and night, killing Maragoli. So for sure we don't know the story of Maragoli. It's lost. Yeah, but we know for sure it's called Macero, and today we still have clans called Macero among the Maragoli. So this is a very important artifact because I know it's connected to biblical or Bibles in one way or the other. So by the time European came, the Luo were wearing the same thing, but the Hehe or the Lur and the other Luos or the Luo related groups back there or back north, they didn't have it. It was only the group that was fighting the Maragoli. They were wearing similar things with Maragoli that no people could not even know which group is what. Yeah, because they were so identical, but one was stealing from the other through war. Okay, kill, steal, and then they use boats to take whatever is stolen to Bahr Ghazal in Sudan. Okay, they used to do it. Even the these things, whatever you see them on the head, they will steal sorghum, millet, take them to what is called Khedive or the Sultan of Bahr Ghazal in Sudan. And there's a lot of story. I'm just, because of censorship, I will not even go into these details, but there's a lot of it. And Barton, and there's another guy. He documented all this thing about the Nilotic people, how they used to invade, attack, and then steal everything, then take to Sudan, especially sorghum and millet. But later on, they will see, they will begin to say, okay, this thing came down with, the Sudanese are the one who brought millet and sorghum, introduced to these whatever primitive Negro. They didn't know anything. They didn't know how to grow anything. It's the Sudanese who introduced everything to them. So that's the kind of history we are being fed today. We don't. Most people don't even know what has been going on. The real history. Yeah. So on the Egyptian war or the Misri, what they call Misraim, you will see this kind of stuff. These are the same goat skin, but today they call them Nubian. But I can't show you what Nubians are these. Okay, but because people just look at the skin color and whatever, they assume, yeah, they're talking about Nubian, the Sudanese. But if you're paying attention, you'll notice these are not Sudanese. Look at the legs or the foot or the whatever, calls in Dumbi, these are not Sudanese. Also the height, yeah. Look at the nose, the lips, these are not Sudanese. Also the brass earrings, okay, and then whatever is wearing at the head. So this is not a Sudanese, yeah. These are not the modern Nilotic people. But some people will prefer you just lump everybody together so that European can steal the entire history. And then they don't care for as long as you don't go into their history. They rather classify us, classify European, and then you don't speak about them. They're just there. So you wonder, like, because now everybody's talking about the Bantus in Africa. Everybody's talking about European, because European now say they're ancient Egyptian, they're ancient Cushites, they're ancient from Japheth, the ancient Shem, the ancient everything, and then the rest of us are just pre-human or pre-Adamites. And then you look at some people in East Africa, who especially who are writing this thing for them. They're not talking about themselves. They don't write anything. They just write some very, very weird things that they are the Babylonians, they are what, and then they don't even want people to read those books because they know they're the ones who are distorting history. Yeah, you can read one. It's called Luo Jurisprudence. They're writing a lot of lies right there, a lot of lies, and manipulating stories. Okay, so we will go deep because we're still up there. We will go deep and deeper and deeper. So now again, when you look at these guys, these are not Sudanese. And if they are Sudanese or they are the modern Nubians, then we need photos. We need somebody to come out with the photos and say these are the same people as the Sudanese. But when you look at the neck, look at their tummy, look at the whatever, even their sitting position. These are not modern Sudanese. These are not Nilotic people. Okay, the brass earrings. These are not Sudanese. The lips. These are not current Sudanese. Okay. Yeah, but one thing I know for sure, the other group, these are the Tutsi. Yeah, that's 100 certainly. Certainly these are Tutsi or Somali or the whatever those groups that you see today in Horn of Africa. Yeah, that one you cannot even. There's no hakuna kupingana. That is for real, for real. Those guys that were whipping and were doing whatever. These are the people from Horn of Africa. Yeah, they're men. These people from East Africa, to this day, they are men. They still grow hips. Okay, yeah, that's why they wear those like Islamic whatever to hide these hips. Wanaume wako na hips. Yeah, if you go to If you go to Rwanda, you'll see Tutsi men. They have hips. Okay, I don't know what in genetic or whatever. I don't know their legs. Yeah, you will see these are knocking legs. You will see them. Okay, or sometimes wako na so much, because so bored. Yeah, so you see this stuff. Okay, now we go to so now this is a very interesting find. So while I was doing my research, I bumped into this website, and this is now a lady or a girl, and she's one of the descendant of like a great grandchildren of the so-called missionaries that came to Kavirondo or Eastern Uganda. So she was writing some stuff, and she was wondering, like, her family left behind, or a great father or great whatever left behind some artifacts and a note, and she was like, let me read it and let me go and find out what these artifacts are. So she discovered something. So we want to read out, and let's check the what she wrote on our website, because she's like she want to know more about this thing that her parents left behind. And I was curious, like, this is very interesting. So let's read some beats in African world history. So this is what she wrote. She said, since my mom's death at the start of this year, I and my brother Tim have been going through the family archives, of which she was the keeper. There have been a lot of fascinating items amongst the collection of papers and small items. Sadly, nothing of much monetary value. Not surprising, really, as there seems to be some sort of anti-magnetic force which keep money and our family well apart. One item, however, is of importance. So far, I'm concerned in connection with the history of world trade. The item in question is a small catch of beads. They look quite ordinary beads, but according to notes appended to them by my great grandfather, they have an interesting backstory. So let's go. So you say, family well apart. One item, however, is of importance. So far, I'm concerned in connection with the history of world trade. Okay. Okay, so let's jump down. They say he acquired these beads in Ngora, Uganda, in East Africa, in 1909, when he was a missionary there. I'm not sure how he came by them, but they have probably given to him by a local chief, according to the note. They have been an heirloom of their Kavirondo people. Okay, so these belong to who? The Luya people who lived in that area. Okay, now you see the parents. So sorry, pause. You see the parent found this thing in Uganda, and remember By the time the Mzungu came, the Nilotic people had taken over Buganda and Bunyoro. They were like enslaving the Bantus. Most people are not even aware of that. The Nilotic were enslaving the Bantu. It is the Ankole, the group of the sister tribe of the Tutsi, who freed the other people. Yeah, and Baganda went back. So sometimes after the Baganda kings were being killed, we will talk about this in detail, how the Baganda kings and the Basoga king were being slaughtered in Tanzania by the same group of people. And then European, we will talk about it. We will go deeper later in a different series, how these kings were being killed like animals, okay, like animals in Tanzania, in Shirazi and Zanzibar and Pemba. Most of the Bantu kings were taken there, slaughtered. Yeah, and some of the books will come written by the same group of people, calling them gay, whatever. Even Maragoli were classified as gay when we don't even know anything about gay. We read the books, they say you guys were gay, and come on, man. There's so many funny stuff. Even Baganda, they don't know this kind of history, but it's the same people who have been doing this for a very long time. So that's why when German and Britain came to settle in the Great Lakes, they put aside their difference because they found the informant. They were telling them all kind of things that they are looking for. Yeah, they stopped fighting each other so that they can concentrate on getting whatever they wanted. Okay, so let's continue. So Kavirondo people who lived in that area handed down from father to son. There must have been a valuable gift, as one bid could purchase one cow. So you see how important this stuff was? Okay. On returning to England, my grandfather took them to the British Museum to see if they could tell him any more about them. The curator there said that they had been made in Greece in about 1000 AD. In other words, almost 1,000 years before and 3,000 miles away. Come on now, look at that. That's a very important thing, artifact. So it continues, says, my first question, of course, is how on earth could the British Museum curator give such an accurate and unlikely provenance? My assuming is it is to be correct, which my brother and I are planning on verifying this. The second question is, how did the beads get from Greece to Uganda and when? So, in another video, I will show you. We had the Luya people. There's enough evidence the Luya people had contact with the ancient people of Europe. There's enough evidence, including names and everything. But one time I tried to mention this, and it's like they removed my video because it's a lot, and they know it's a lot. There's a lot of evidence. Yeah. So let's continue. Now here is another book written by a guy called David McConnell. I can't remember that name, this English name, or Andrew Red or whatever. So in this book, he's writing about something which is related to the same beats. He say Johnson, because Johnson was the first guy to pass through Kavirondo. So he quotes him. He say Johnson was also keen to point to to item which provided external origin. The Kavirondo cultivate the simsim and make oil from its seeds. Pause. I want to speak about something. So in another series, I'll talk about how the Kavirondo people used to offer sacrifices, or when they're doing sacrifice or offer sacrifice, they will throw simsim to the fire. Okay, they call it culture of the Zoroastrian or Zoroastrian, whatever, from Iran, but I don't believe so because the Kavirondo people have been doing it for a very long time. Anyway, let's continue. Which they burn in little clay lamp, strongly resembling in form those of Egypt and Rome. That is Johnson 1902. A curious artifact category which Johnson discussed on several occasions was blue beads of large size and dull appearance. Johnson 2. Worn in earrings by the Luo in the northeastern corner of Lake Victoria. These beads were claimed by those they adorned not to be trade beads, but were said to have been collected from fields near the Maragoli Hills. So remember that point. You see, the Luos claimed they used to collect them from Maragolia Hills. Okay, they wear beads, very important beads, but they just collected from Maragolia Hills. Okay, nowhere else. Maragolia Hills, that's where they collected them. Okay, let's continue. So Johnson, imagine that the original possessor of these beads made considerable settlement in the neighborhood of the Maragolia Hills, and that the beads were constantly being dropped and lost in the field, and hence conclude that ancient village sites must be present. So you see, now I want you to connect this information. According to the Luo, they told Johnson they used to collect, like, pick up these beads from Maragolia Hills. Okay, nowhere else, not in Sudan, not in Egypt, not in Cairo, not in Israel, not in Ethiopia, but Maragolia is that's where they used to collect. And you see, for many years, Maragoli were fighting Luos, were fighting like frequently, used to fight a lot. Why? Because the Luo used to come to steal. Yeah, once they kill, they steal, and not just Maragoli, even the other Luyas will tell the same story. They used to invade, and once you become their protector, it's called Mpako Mpako. We'll talk about Mpako Mpako, the system. They establish lordship or feudal lordship over you. They conquer. So now you farm, you till your land, whatever. When it comes to like getting your whatever, your crops or when they are ready, they take. You have to divide ile ya kukula, you remain with their kukula, they take the rest. They take it to Kadive. Like Kadive was Ottoman Sultan. I used to control Sudan, Egypt, all those areas. So their food used to come from Kavirondo. So they could not, because of mosquitoes, they could not penetrate what is called the equatorial Africa, or the equator, or the Nile, the headwater, where the Nile begins. So they could not penetrate. So they used to hire what is called Funj. Funj were like the soldiers from Baar el Ghazal. They will contract them, give them whatever, and then they will come, invade, kill, then take whatever they take, the whatever, and then take it back to Kadive or to the Sultan of Ottomans in Bahar Ghazal, Sudan. So that's what used to happen. And so the Ethiopian and Sudanese were fighting to control the Kavirondo, because whoever controls will pay bigger tributes to the Ottomans or the Turkic people who established the headquarters in Medina and whatever this name I forgot. So and Gondora, and there's another one. So they had these like bases, and also along Mombasa we had the caravan, the Swahili caravan boy. Those ones were not like cruel. They will come, do barter trade, and then take back whatever they had found. Yeah. So whether it's food or gold or whatever, they will take back using the caravan. But the Nilotic will invade, kill, steal, and enslave, and take them via Gondokora, and then to Kadive or to the Sultan of Sudan, which are basically the Turkic people. Okay, so that's why when British took over Kenya, first thing was establish or destroy Kavirondo, or make Kavirondo part of Kenya, so that the trade route or whatever, the source of the food and power and minerals that the Ottomans used to get from Kavirondo is no longer there. And then lastly, establish the Suez Canal, or dig the Suez Canal. And that's how the Ottoman and Muslim died. Okay, that's how those people were defeated. So now let's continue. It says, this is another book. It says, it talks about the same beads. Okay, just on the same topic. Say, these beads only reigned at Maragoli Hills, nowhere else. So let's read this. Say, many of the Jaluo affect rather a notable ornament of the ear. About 15 small holes are pierced along the outer edge of the ear, and in other hole a ring of brass. Now, whenever you hear brass, this is Maragoli. So again, stolen from Maragoli. I have other sources to confirm this. So small holes are pierced along the outer edges of the ear, and in ear hole a ring of brass is inserted, and on the front side of the brass is flattened out like a small leaf. To the outside extremity of each ring is attached a blue bead. In the lowest hole in the lobe of the ear, a plain brass ring is inserted. For a long time, I thought that these blue beads were ordinary trade beads of the variety known as Kiketi. But upon inquiry, this was indignantly repeated, and it was explained that these beads were picked up in the field of the neighborhood of the Maragolis after a heavy thunderstorm, and that it was believed that they descended with the rain. Some of the chiefs also were beads of jasper and whatever. So, now, as you can see, Johnson was told, but these beads, they used to come, they pour down with the rain, but only at Maragoli Hills. And maybe I could add something, maybe after war. Yeah, that's when the rain came or fell after war and rain. That's when they attacked Maragoli still, and then they say, oh, those whatever they came down with the rain. Okay, because how do you say this thing used to pour down with the rain only at Maragoli? It's where Maragoli used to hide their artifact, their drum, and everything. How is that even possible? Just one specific area, rain of blue beads and artifacts. Yeah, and Maragoli used to hide a lot of stuff in that Maragoli Hills, and it's not up to this day. Even the grave of Maragoli, nobody knows where it is. Even the Europeans have tried to go to snitch and ask people to show Maragoli, never. Even when they were asking about the drum, Maragoli, no Maragoli ever responded. They didn't tell the Mzungus where about the story of the drum, but for some reason they stole it. They stole the drums of the drum of the Maragoli. To this day, it's kept at Philadelphia, somewhere at Philadelphia, and nobody knows about. And I suspect it could be one of the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. So Maragoli, they have shied away. Nobody wants to talk about it because of how people have written so many bad things about this stuff. So they don't want even to mention about the drum. But I don't think Maragoli was stupid to just hide that thing in a cave. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, let's continue. So in another book, oh no, same guy, Andrew Reid, he says, evidence for this bead does not now exist, and there's nothing to indicate that they were anything other than trade beads regularly available in the 19th century. Also, the location of the Maragolis is unknown. Did you read that? Maragoli is not there. Maragoli Hills, it is not there. Even today, you can just go to Google and search Maragoli Hills in the cave where Maragoli hid all the artifacts and why the Luo used to attack that specific area. Especially people of like Masana, they will tell you the clan Masana. Actually, that was the proper original name before become Maragoli, but today is identified as just a small clan. So, and no such sites have been found by any of the archaeologists who have worked on the later archaeology of the area. So, if you ask Maragoli, have you ever seen any archaeology on that area? The answer will be no, because they don't know these Muzungu have been spying on them. Say, oh, we want to plant trees, we want to make a tree cover. They don't know these are spies who are still looking for any information. Okay, the reason why Mzungu are looking for this is not because they want to tell you or tell the world about your story. It's because they want to cover up. Yeah, they've been using their enemies. Now they want to come to hide, to come. If they find something, they will never credit Luya or Marago. Say, oh, these are things they stole it from us, Mzungu, or it came down with the white race, which later on evolved to Luo or Tutsi or whatever. That's what they're doing. To this day, even the Lemba, they are saying the Lembas used to be white. Luo used to be white. Tutsi used to be Caucasian European. And that we just Negroid. And we had an imaginary line. There used to be an imaginary fence separating us, the primitive Negroid, from them who are so well educated, very intelligent, the chosen tribes, and the most intelligent people who built all civilization. Us, we're just sitting down and waiting for what do you call manna to fall down. We didn't do anything. We didn't have anything. We didn't know anything. We're just there. The only European, their descendants, their kids, who decided to just move down. The Luos, the Tutsi, the Hima, the Nyamulengo. And then they came, brought knowledge to us. They built the Thimli Choinga, the pottery, the Okrewe. They did everything. We were just looking, just there looking, waiting to be enslaved. Okay, that's what they're saying. That's that's the whole line of history that we're being fed by the Mzungu to this day. Okay. So it continues, says, a further element receiving regular attention was religion. Casual reference suggests religion's connotation. For instance, Baganda oral tradition recognized the founder of the kingdom as a mystical character by the name Kintu, whom Stanley, from the character described as probably priests. So they know the Chuezi people are priest people. We will get there. Tunaenda polepole, we'll get there. Tutafikia nyama. Bado tunatoa mabawa ikuku. We'll get there. There's a lot to cover. Okay. So we'll talk about Kintu, we'll talk about the Chwezi in details. We talk all the information that the Hima, the Tutsi were giving out, how they were presenting information, calling them witches. Anytime you read when the Tutsi were talking about the Chwezi them being priests, they call them witches. But when they're talking, oh, the Chwezi developed or found this, they say, oh, the Chwezi were Tutsi, they were Hima, they were Luo. When they're talking, oh, the Chwezi were witches, oh, it's not us, it was the Bantu, oh, it was, yeah, they were Sukuma people. Those were Sukuma in Tanzania. Those were Bantus. They don't want to be connected in the bad stories. Check their books, how they're writing these stories, and how the Mzungu, the Germans, and Briton, walieka bunduki kando. They said, okay, let's stop fighting. Let's get information from the Luo, Hima, and Tutsi. Yeah, took them to Belgium or Germany, Russia, so that they can write books. New York, it's called the JFK L program. That's how Obama's dad was, taken to America, so that they can write negative stuff about the Great Lakes Bantu and provide all the intelligence. Yeah, so that's how these things were done. Yeah, to this day, they still do it. They take these people, go have them in colleges and write books. As long as it's negative about us, they will hire them, or they want to get there. So yeah, here you say the Jaluo have a curious habit. I mean, I don't want to read all that. Let me just skip down. Say, with the kind assistance of Mr. C.H. Reid of the British Museum, I examined the collection of the bead at the museum from various parts of the world, and I found yellow and blue beads of the exact color and shape among the Egyptian antiquities, and jasper beads, identical in appearance to the Nyaluo, both from ancient Egypt and the excavation made on the site some buried cities in Baluchistan. Now, I will talk about my Baluchi people. People call them Assyrians, but we call Baluchi. I don't want to specify what they call Baluchi and the origin of the name Baluchi, because it's Luya. Baluchi, they're not called Baluchistan, they're called Baluchi. You find them in India, but they used to be in East Africa. Yeah, some of these Ethiopian are descended of the Baluchi, and we know for a fact. So the name Baluchi, it comes from, we don't want to, any Luya, remove stand, you'll know the meaning of Baluchi. So, people call them Assyrian. Anyway, the Baluchi, there's a lot we will talk about the Baluchi, especially in connection to the Amara, because they're the one who brought John Hampton Speck to Amara, to modern Maragoli land. They told him, okay, you're looking for the Amara. The people stole the book from them. Here they are. And when Spock went back to Britain, said, he was assassinated because he had all the information from Indians, from the same Ethiopians that today claim to be the same Amara. The same Ethiopian told them the Amara below there. Go down there, you'll find them, where the White Nile begins. But today, the Amara say, the Amhara became Amara. They became the same people. They switched. Yeah. This is well-known information. It's the Germans who did it. The Germans called them Ethiopia when they used to call themselves Abyssinians or Abashi, meaning the military or people who can be hired to fight. Okay. Anyway, so that's part of the history. So now you see these artifacts were compared, and they match many other artifacts. And from the time Europeans discovered that this thing belonged to Negroid-looking people, they said, no, we're gonna give this credit to the Nilotic people. So we'll have many other information about the Ukerewe, how people call Kohen, find names such as Kohen, writing books how Ukerewe was done by the Nilotic Luo. And then there's no evidence connecting Ukerewe to Luo. even the Thimli Chewinga, but they say it was done by the Luo. Although Thimli Chewinga, which it resembles the same stone structure of Zimbabwe, there's another structure, Central Africa. Okay, so they have been hiding all this information. Kitambo, they used to say Thimli Chewinga was built by Pygmies and Khoisan, but they discovered now this thing is taller than the Khoisan. So now they say, okay, now they decided it's the what, the Nilotic people built it, the Luo. So even the anyway, I'm telling you. So they nearly 200 evidence. They don't know how to connect Zimbabwe to that. So you'll find Cohen. There's a guy called Cohen. He writes all these kind of lies. Say the Nilotic people built Thimli Chewinga. Yeah, because if they give credit, even 1% credit to Luya, yeah, it'll be all gone. That's why the Suba people, when the British government established a country that is not there, it's called Kenya. Yeah, the Suba people were forced to learn their schoolwork in Luo. Okay, they had to absorb them, they had to assimilate them by force. We'll talk about the pact, because there's a secret pact between British government and Luo. Even the name we know. Yeah, even how we will talk about that. We'll get into details of the secret pact between the Luo and the British. Even how Germans discovered the Luo, and because Germans were doing terrible things in Tanzania. Yeah, most people know about what they did in Baherero, in Namibia and Angola, but they don't know what they did in Tanzania. There are so many tribes in Tanzania that were wiped off completely from the face of the earth. But once these Germans discovered Luo, they went silent. Why? This is the same time Zulu are fighting down there in South Africa, Kikuyu are fighting the British, everybody's fighting for the independence, but they found the Luo and then they become silent. Everything becomes calm. Yeah, why? And from then you discover Nuas are being lifted, taken to Germany, Russia, whatever. Why? What did they find out? Giving them information. And that's where the myth or the story of Bantu coming from West Africa began. It was conceived there, right there, Kisumu or Luos. Yeah, these people came from. So it was formulated. Some people like Seligman, if you do a research, he never. Anyway, we'll talk about it. Right now. I don't want to mix you guys all the kind of information right now. So you see the myths of the Makuria. So today they tell you Makuria are modern Coptic people, or those white people in Egypt, and say they are the Makuria. And if they are Makuria, it means they were once upon a time they used to be enslaved by the Turkic people, taken to Basra, yeah, to farm for them, which is very, 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 I don't know how to call it. Yeah. If the Coptic, we have Coptic people in Kenya, we see them daily. We are not talking about alien. You can go to Coptic hospital, Coptic church, you see those Europeans. Yeah, you'll see them in Kenya, they are there, and they're telling you these are the ancient Egyptians, and you look at what's this crazy. Yeah. And when they come to Kenya, they don't even feel, they don't feel at home, because they know this is now Africa. They're not part of Africa. You can just tell them, you can pick them out. You can single out these Copt people from Africans. So Makuria were Copt, the early Christian were Copt. Yeah, that's another big lie. Yeah, they came later on. Yeah, these are Greeks. Okay, they mix with the Turkic people. Today they say, the Copt people speak ancient Egyptian language in a Greek language. How? How can you speak Swahili in English? How do you speak English in Arabic? But the Coptic people speak ancient language of the Egyptian through Copt. Come on, man. No, Mzungu is a liar, but wanadanganya. But anyway, you can't debate them, but they lie a lot. Some of the things that they say, but the archaeologists are not even the one defending these lies. It's basically layman, or the people. When you are Jew, they don't even have passport. They've never walked from their house. They've never been to Africa. They think Africa is a country, so they don't understand history. They don't understand how people have been invading each other to conquer and steal people's history. They don't understand. They think people have been like this forever. Yeah, especially what people in America, they don't understand history completely. They are like, they don't understand history. Most of them never walked. They never left their home or their state. They're speaking about things they have Googled on TV, movie, Hollywood. They don't understand. So arguing with them is like, the kupiga mbuzi in guitar. Yep. So for that, blessing to everyone, and Santi. I'm so nimeshukuru. Thank you.